All right, it seems along with everything else these last few months, my car has also fallen apart. I don't know what has been going on with me. I'm usually really good about keeping my car clean, especially these last couple of years, but these last few months have just been horrendous and everything has been falling apart, including my car. This is so disgusting. Now, the kids do football, baseball, and I think just along with working so much and everything else that's been going on these last couple of months, I have just let it get out of control. Every little corner of this car is disgusting. Every single time I got into it, I just felt so gross and it was on my mind. So I decided to come out this day and tackle it for once and for all. I'm not quite sure why I did it on this day. This particular day was like this entire week that I did this. We were actually going through a major heat wave. It was almost 100 degrees when I had gone out to do this. So you're going to see later on I'm sweating like a pig, but it needed to be done and it does feel so much better. Now, I definitely like to follow a specific order when I'm cleaning out my car. I just find that it goes a lot smoother this way. First, I like to go through the entire car and clean out all of the trash. Now, I keep this little trash bin in my car at all times. I've had it for many years and I absolutely love it. It works really good. I think that normally it's a very good size. I'm pretty good about emptying it, but I just find that having it right there, I'm able to kind of throw things out as I'm going. And typically, if the kids have any trash, I will just have them bring that out with them so I don't have anything in the back. After picking out all the trash, I like to just remove as much as I can from the car. That way I have a clean surface to work with and then I can start wiping everything down individually. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Jen and I'm married to my husband Matt and we have three boys ages 22, 14, and 12. Now, this last week has been pretty rough. If you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that my dad was in the hospital recently, and I actually had to just send him back in for a couple of days. Thankfully, he is home again and he is doing much better. And the day that I'm doing this voiceover is the day that my oldest son just left. He is moving to Pennsylvania and he left with a group of his friends. They're going to go spend the weekend there before he moves in on Monday and just kind of get to know the area that they're staying in. So it's really kind of been a roller coaster of emotions. We just have a lot going on. I will try to throw in some clips later of some more things that we ended up picking up for him. I took him over to BJ's and we bought just a few more things to stock up his apartment. And then my husband and I are planning on going next week. We are going to take a truck and bring up some other things that he purchased, like a couch, some of the things that he couldn't fit into the car. And we're going to just stay in a hotel up there and help him get settled in. We're going to go to IKEA when we're there and probably Walmart and get a few more things, just help him get the apartment all set up. He's about 8.5 hours driving away from us, so it is going to be challenging, but I have faith in him. He's very responsible. I think he's going to do great things when he's there. I just have to hope that he comes home in a couple of years. He's got an internship that is going to last 2 years, and hopefully he'll be back after that. So now what I did first was I just did a quick dry dust. I had a lot of dust in the car. I'm going to actually show you guys later on. I had watched a YouTube short and it showed somebody changing out their cabin filter, which I didn't even know was a thing. My car is about 13 years old and I never once changed out this cabin filter. I didn't even know that it existed until I saw it. So I'd actually purchased it quite a while ago. I tried to change it out myself, but I didn't know how to actually get the console thing down and out. So my dad ended up changing that for me today, which was great. And I think it's going to help just kind of with the dust and everything in the car and obviously breathing in fresher air with the air conditioner and the heat. So after I did the dry dusting, I just like to spray everything down with an all-purpose cleaner. Clearly it needed it. That was pretty gross. And of course, I keep my Aldi quarter right there, so it's always available when I go to the store. I know exactly where it is. And then I just wet everything down with another rag. Some of the things that I find are really helpful to actually keep the car clean in between doing big cleans like this, or even preventing having to do these as often at all, is just keeping things in the car. I actually keep them in an area of the car that I don't use for anything else. I usually just keep a couple of small bottles of all-purpose cleaner that I bought at like Dollar General or Dollar Tree or something like that, a couple of rags, and another thing that I was using for the vents. They're for crafting, but they're like a foam brush and they get inside the vents and everything really good. So if I have just a couple of minutes, if I'm sitting in my car, if I'm driving the kids around to sports and I'm waiting for them during practices, I will just pull out some of that stuff and wipe everything down. That way I don't have to do this on a regular basis and it doesn't get to this point. I thought about going on Amazon and ordering something for this middle console to keep it a little bit more organized, but honestly, now that the kids are older, I find that I don't have to keep nearly as much stuff as I used to in the car. So I was able to get through all of that stuff, throw most of it away, and then just package up things into individual baggies. That way, when I reach in there and I know what I have to find, I can just pull out that bag. And because there's so few things in there, they're easy to get to. So I didn't have to waste any money on buying new organization systems for that area of the car. I do love having leather on my seats just because I find that it's a lot easier to keep clean. Certainly when there's crumbs or dog hair or anything like that, it's just something that you can wipe down and then just polish up with some leather cleaner, and it keeps them looking pretty good. I think if I had had cloth, they probably would have been destroyed by now. If your car has gotten a little bit out of control, I would suggest just taking your phone out right now, put it into your car, and just start cleaning it out. Even if you don't have the time to get it all done in this particular day, just go out, take out some of the trash, wipe down a couple of the surfaces. I can promise you that you're going to feel a lot better just getting some of it done. I usually keep a pretty large bin in the back for any kind of emergency items that I might need. I did not go through that on this day, but I definitely want to take a few minutes to go through that and really see what I have to keep in there. There's probably plenty of things at this point that I could take out, but I do like to have a few things in there for if we were ever to break down or something like that. And then this thing there, I ended up going back and throwing it away. I was like, I don't know what this is. I should probably keep this. But then I was like, well, if I don't know what this is and I've never used it, then I think it could probably go in the trash. Now that all of the trash is taken out, all of the surfaces are wiped down, I pulled out our wet dry vac and just kind of vacuumed out everything in the car. I was going to take it over to the car cleaning place to do this, but I decided I have it. I might as well just pull it out and do it at home. It was a little bit easier. And then I will go through a little bit later on. We're going to go into the car wash and clean the outside of the car as well. But I do like doing it at home. I just find that I can take my time. I don't have to worry about my quarters running out, and I can just do a better job. I think on a day where it's not so hot, I'll probably take out my little green machine and do a deeper clean of the rugs, take out some of the other rugs that I'm able to and scrub them down and wash them with a hose outside. This day was just way too brutal. I could not spend that much more time outside. Like I said, I went out around 8:30 in the morning and it was already almost 100 degrees, and I do not do well in the heat. I always have my ACs on. I just cannot stand the heat like that. It was super humid, super muggy, and I could not wait to get this done. So we have a family trip coming up this summer. I'm super excited about it. We're going to the DR, and we're staying at a resort. It's actually my first time leaving the country, so I'm very excited. The kids are super excited. We are going with my in-laws, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, and their kids. So it's just going to be a really great time, I think. So if any of you guys have ever stayed at a resort or anything in the Dominican Republic and have any recommendations for like different excursions or things like that, I know my son went there for a trip in January. He actually took a cruise and he spent the whole day with monkeys. There's a place there where you can go and like just kind of hang out with the monkeys for a couple of hours. I think that looked really cool. So if you guys have any recommendations of different things like that to do, I would absolutely love to hear them. Like I said, it's my first time ever leaving the country, so I just am not that familiar with it. So I'm planning to start packing soon. I just ordered our suitcases and pretty excited to get that in. Now I'm just taking out some of these things in the center console, and like I said, most of the stuff probably doesn't need to be in here. I am a nurse, so I tend to always come home with like gloves in my pocket, and I keep a few in the car. That way, if I'm ever out and something's happening where I need to, jump into action, if there's any blood or anything like that, I like to have gloves in the car just so I'm prepared in that aspect. And the other stuff, I like to keep a couple of pens, but I actually had an entire bag of pens in here. Most of them were dried out just because they'd been in there for so long. So I obviously don't need that many in there all the time. So a lot of the stuff I was able to throw away and just keep a few things in here, which just cleaned it up pretty nicely. So a day last week, I did one of my biggest freezer cooking meals that I've ever done, I think. I actually woke up around 6:30, got started in the kitchen, and I did not finish up until around 9:30 at night. Now, there was plenty of interruptions throughout the day where I had to stop for periods of time in between. The kids were home, my dad needed stuff. There was a lot of things going on in between, but I think I just need to figure out a way to make that go a little smoother, maybe break it up into a couple of days. But I did film it, and I will be showing you guys that video hopefully next week. It was also very challenging to try to film it all as well as just getting it all done, plus all the interruptions. So I did the best I could. I will certainly try to improve that aspect of it, but hopefully that'll be out for you next week. I was able to get a ton of different meals put in the freezer of breakfasts and dinners, and it has made a huge difference in just making my life a little bit easier for this last week and then hopefully in the months to come. And I would like to add more meals eventually as well, but it definitely does help with dinners and having some breakfasts on hand that the kids can pull out now that they're home from school. We also did buy another air fryer. I had actually had one quite a while ago, and my oldest son never pulled it away from the wall, so it actually was like starting to burn a hole into the tile, and it ruined the whole top of it, so we had to throw that away after like a month. And I just said I wasn't going to get another one, but I thought about it for several months before I actually bought it. I did a lot of research on which one I wanted, and I had to make sure that I had a place to store it. Now, we are actually going to leave it on the countertops, which I don't like to have a lot on the countertops, but the area that I'm keeping it, I feel comfortable leaving it there. Right now, it just doesn't make sense for me to keep putting it away if I want the kids to be able to use it. The biggest reason I got it was so when we're not home, if we're at work, the kids can use that to heat up their meals throughout the day. I don't have to worry about them using the stove. They don't always have to use the microwave. And I've taught them how to use it, and I think it'll work out really good. It does blend in. It's pretty small, and it fits right onto the countertop, which I don't use for anything else like food preparation or any of that anyways. But I really did think about it long and hard before I decided to buy it and make sure that I was okay leaving it out as opposed to putting it away. So like I said, a ton of the stuff that was actually in there ended up going into the trash. I'm using these little Q-tips, which I keep in here. I use them all over the house. I bought them on Amazon. They're just great at getting out little areas that you can't reach with other tools to clean out little dust and dirt that maybe build up into those little crevices. I love these things. Like I said, I use them all over the house. They're great for areas like this, and it just makes you realize how much is in there that you weren't even able to get out with just like a cloth. And then here's the inside. It's nice and cleaned out. I don't have any fancy organization, but I am able to get to everything that I need to get to. Now we are heading into the car wash. I really wanted to just get the outside as clean as the inside, and I actually find it really relaxing to go into the car wash. I don't know what it is. You just kind of sit in there with the AC on and let the car get cleaned while you don't have to do any of the work. I think it's wonderful. And here's my dad changing out that cabin filter I was talking about. Here's the old one. It was so gross. There was so much disgusting stuff in there that, I mean, like I said, my car's 13 years old. It's never been changed, at least since I've had it. Here's the brand new one, what it's supposed to look like. And he just changed that out really quickly for me. It was wonderful. And the air definitely feels cooler. It's pushing out a little harder. This was before I went to the car wash. I wanted to clean all of the windows as well. I figured if I was doing it, I might as well just do the whole thing completely. And we are finally done. Here's the car, nice and clean. It felt so good to get into the nice clean car. And I have been keeping it clean this past week. So I also tell the kids, make sure that you're taking out your trash with you. Don't leave anything in the car. Obviously, they're older now, so they're not like big messy eaters that are getting stuff everywhere. But it is definitely nice to have a clean car. It just makes you feel better, I think. We're in our cars so much that they should be kept pretty clean and neat. And that way we always know what's in there. And when we're getting in and out, we don't feel like slobs. So I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.